trip.
Oh, we're spending the big bucks on that.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Monticello City Council to order. Would you please rise and join me in reciting the pledge and stay standing as Rodney Burris leads us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic
For which it
and
stands,
one
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you again, Father, for bringing us together to discuss and to vote and to do things that are great for the city. We ask you to give us wisdom and lead us through this time. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Roll call, please, Jill.
Ms. Muse,
Here.
Ms. Sebens, Ms. Harlan,
Here.
Mr. Reed, Ms. Vogt, Mr. Brock,
Here.
Mr. Burris,
Here.
and Mr. Coon.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Public participation. Public participation in this in-person participation, and there's no one here this evening. Yeah, there is somebody just got here. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. Those wishing to speak are required to sign in prior to commencement of the meeting and must address council from the seat and table provided. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. Is anyone signed in, John? Thank you. Remote participation, is there anyone there? Okay, I need to read this then. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. At this time, members of the public are able to attend public meetings by web conference, to submit public comment by email, voicemail, or through web conference. Mr. Schreffler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to comment before you approved any documents that the minutes of the zoning planning board do not include any reference to my appearance during that meeting and or reflect the fact that the online web address was incorrect and as such was a direct violation of the Open Meetings Act. I would like to see somebody make a motion to have those minutes revised to include and accurately reflect the proceedings of that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comment? Jim?
So Mayor, those minutes won't be approved until the next time the Planning and Zoning Board meets. I can bring this issue up if you'd like to that period of time.
That'd be fine. Would you
Okay.
please? And then we'll take care of that then.
My apologies, Mayor. I was assuming that this was the last minutes, and so my apology. Thank you, and I'll look forward to seeing that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anyone else, Laura? Consent agenda, approval of documents and action items is listed. Claims report, claims dated January 25th, 2022 through February 14th, 2022. Claims dated February 15th, 2022 through February 28th, 2022. Meeting minutes, City Council meeting minutes, January 24th, 2022. Planning and Zoning Board meeting minutes, December 20th, 2021. Permit report, January 2022. Treasurer's report, December 2021. Report, January 2022. Fire report, January 2022. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as provided?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions on any issue?
Are we not then approving the PZB minutes that has been approved by the,
These are okay.
oh, these are clear.
Yeah, we're good. Even Carly's here. Carly's here.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
What? Jim, go ahead.
What happens is when the PZB meets, the following meeting, they approve the minutes from the meeting before.
But they've already approved this one.
Right, and the meeting minutes he's talking about will be from our last meeting, which reflected that he was there the previous meeting.
Gotcha.
Okay, got it. Very good. Anyone else?
That's not correct, I'm referring to the Michael Wassam conditional use.
You're out of order. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Any more comments? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please, Jill?
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Brock, Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Coon.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the mayor's report. This is an acknowledgement and a few thank yous for this great community that we live in. As you all know, there was a structure fire in Monticello on February the 9th, and it was a devastating fire to the family. They lost, looks like they lost everything. And I'd like to thank some individuals and some groups that were very helpful during this time. First of all, I'd like to recognize the Monticello Fire and Rescue Department, the Mid-Piatt Fire Protection District, the Bement Fire Protection District, the Cisco Fire Protection District, Kirby Ambulance Service, Monticello Police Department, Piatt County Sheriff's Office Dispatch and deputies, City of Monticello Public Works Department, that was Brett Baker, Bart Baker, Trevor Moore, Nick Stevens, and Taylor Bogard, and Harish Patel from Subway, who provided sandwiches for those on the scene. Once again, the community comes together and helps in a time of need, and I am just really pleased with how all this was handled, and offer all of you that participated, thank you. And we really appreciate your efforts. The other thing I'd like to acknowledge is we've had 3 snow events in the last month. I thought maybe this year would be another year like, did we have snow last year one time maybe? Wasn't very much, but anyway, we had a snow event on February 3rd and 4th that was really a bad one. And we had several persons on the Public Works Department that spent 24 hours a day here in the community, who lived outside the area, but made arrangements somewhere in the town to be able to sleep and et cetera. So I'd like to thank Public Works Director Brett Baker and the entire City of Monticello Public Works Department. They worked multiple shifts and around the clock. Jim Grabarczyk and Clayton Dobson also assisted with winter weather operations. So to all of you that helped, thank you very much. Now, after the 3rd and 4th, we had another one that we had supposedly had a whole lot of snow, but I didn't think it was. This last event we had was more ice than anything, but they're always there and they get the job done in a timely manner. And I am extremely proud of their work and for trying to keep the citizens of this community safe. So thank you to all of them. And that's my report this evening. New business. Ordinance 2022-06, an ordinance approving a redevelopment agreement between the City of Monticello and Ashokan Properties concerning the property located at 217 West Washington Street, Monticello, Illinois. Jim? Sorry. I know it's one of you.
So this is another opportunity to take advantage and use those business district funds that this council agreed to commit to. This year was $100,000 compared to $50,000 last year for building improvement grant programs. This truly is a public-private partnership. This one was from the submittals from last December. There were 2 that were approved by that committee. This one, the second of those 2, they were working on some details on the windows. We've had that resolved. So this one entails replacement of the upper story windows, the entire painting and improvement of the facade at 217 West Washington, like the mayor indicated. It's the Prairie Fire Glass building, and it's got apartments upstairs. So the estimated project construction is almost $14,000. The recommended reimbursement, 50% of that total cost would be $6,988.70. Keep in mind, this is a reimbursement, so they have to show the bills paid and so on and so forth. So it is recommended the city council vote on this ordinance at tonight's city council meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2022-06, an ordinance approving a redevelopment agreement between the city of Monticello and Ashokan Properties concerning the property located at 217 West Washington Street, Monticello, Illinois?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? I think it's money well spent. Anything we can do to make businesses and those that live downtown more comfortable is great. Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
and Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to B, Resolution 2022-07, resolution for approval of conditional use, HHH Sage Crossing LLC, Doug Hughes and Gay owner, Sage Crossing, Lot 3, Monticello. Jim.
That was me. So like Mayor said, Mr. Husingay is here for any questions that may come up, but I'll read the synopsis of what the project's going to entail. It's actually going to be a conditional use to construct a 6,501 square foot, what are we calling it, a commercial building, but it's in a planned commercial industrial area, IC. It's needed, the conditional use is needed because he's going to have multiple main uses, a restaurant and future potential uses such as a drugstore, clinic, professional offices, and retail office space. And under the terms of the Monticello zoning regulations, 153.017, table I, and 153.108, we have to get a conditional use to do those things. The supporting documents you have in front of you, the site layout plan, and copy of the public notice published in the February 2nd, 2022 edition of the Pike County Journal-Republican, and the approved PZB motion signed by Mr. Hawkins. There was no public comments received at the PZB or by mail or by email. The project is consistent with the surrounding area uses, and it's recommended the city council discuss and approve the conditional use permit for Sage Crossing, proposed lot 3 in the city of Monticello.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2022-07, a resolution for approval of conditional use, HHH Sage Crossing LLC, Doug Hughes and Gay owner, Sage Crossing, Lot 3, Monticello?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments or questions before we proceed? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Very good. Ordinance 2022-08, an ordinance declaring surplus property and authorizing the purchase of property. Terry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance entails spending some of those surplus revenues that we talked about, nearly $1.5 million in surplus revenues from fiscal year 2021. And they were included in your budget under street sweeper and mower replacement. So this ordinance, if approved tonight, would allow us to trade in our 2008 John Deere 3520 compact tractor to the local AHW and purchase a 2022 John Deere 3039 compact tractor and trading in our 2007 Johnson street sweeper and purchasing an EJ equipment street sweeper 2022 Timco 435 street sweeper. Again, these fleet replacements were included within the FY 2022 budget. It is recommended the city council discuss and approve ordinance 2022-08 as presented.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2022-08, an ordinance declaring surplus property and authorizing the purchase of property?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions?
Just curious, when you're going to get this stuff? It comes.
Question.
Yeah.
Quicker than we're still waiting on the big dump trucks. It's getting finalized, but I believe the tractor is either at AHW or is going to be there soon. And the street sweeper is in production.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Hearing or seeing no one? Can I have a roll call, please, Jill?
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Kim. Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to have a public hearing for the annual, on the annual appropriation ordinance 202209. This is an opportunity to provide public comment relating to the annual appropriation. Are there any comments? Are there any comments? Hearing or seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve ordinance 202209, approval of the fiscal year 2022 annual appropriation ordinance. Is there such?
We have to vote to end public.
No. Oh,
So moved.
is there a second? Do I have to? I don't think so. I don't have to close public participation on that, do I?
You have in the past.
Have I?
Yeah,
Excuse me.
I looked
Thank you.
today.
Is there a motion to close public participation?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. I'm so sorry, people. You'd think I'd get this right after
There you go, Jill.
this many years. Any comments or questions before we proceed?
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, thank
Tom, Mr. Quiet over here.
you. Got it.
Got it? Go ahead.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Brock.
Yes.
Mr. Burris.
Yes.
And Mr. Kim.
Okay. Just slowed us down 10 seconds. My errors. All right, we're up to point 7, Alderwomen's reports. We'll
No,
start.
you have to do the ordinance now. You just.
Didn't I
closed the
do the
public-
ordinance?
You started.
Oh, I
Stopped
started.
you.
God. You know, I get programmed and when I do when it's off the tracks, I'm done.
Look,
It's right
that's
here.
okay, right here, right there.
Don't all shake your head. Ordinance, is there a motion to approve ordinance 202209, approval of the fiscal year 2022 annual appropriations ordinance?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments? Any more comments? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I didn't think missing one meeting would mess me up as much as this, but obviously. Alderperson's reports. We'll start with Mr. Brock tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a great deal, only that I make a daily journey on my way to work that sends me down State Street from Cemetery Road to the square. I know that many of you travel that same way from time to time. It's in terrible, terrible condition. We tried, we cold patched some before the weather got bad. The 2 rounds of snow plowing, I'm sure Jim, Terry, anybody's been up and down that road, it just tore it to pieces. It's in terrible shape. So I hope as springtime comes that we can do something. It's almost beyond being able to cold patch the holes. There's just too many holes. We're going to have to address some resurfacing and expense put there because I don't believe throwing cold patch in is going to work. It'll never last all summer. So I hope we can do that. Other than that, things look pretty good around my end of town. Snowplows did a good job. The guys did great. We got some new plow guys, but I watched a couple of them and they did a nice job. They didn't quite plow the corners to open up the storm drains. So a lot of my people down in there got out and shoveled the drains as best they could. but the snow melted at a rate that it really didn't get back out in the street. So, but as far as clearing the streets, they did a good job. They got out early in the morning and they weren't too bad about plowing in my driveway shut. Get it shoveled out and get to work. But other than that, I thought things went well in the snowstorm. I thought they did a great job. And I do appreciate them being there all hours of the day and night. They just work really hard at it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Rodney?
Yeah, I would echo, they did a great job. I think the only complaint I ever heard was probably the small kids who were playing on the mounds of snow near me. They didn't like when you took them away, but no, that's all I got.
Thank you, Mike.
I just echo what people have said. I really appreciate living here and all the efforts the extra efforts that were done to take care of the snow and all the stuff during the weather events that we've had over the last month.
Thomas?
Just agree with those guys. I'll leave it at that.
Pam?
Nothing.
Nothing tonight?
No.
I'm impressed.
Ashley, I know she has something.
Actually,
I just also want to, thank all the fire rescue efforts for the structure fire. The other day, I was actually dropping kids off to school right as fire and rescue were showing up. And I was really impressed with just how quickly they got there and got right on it. And then also, that's a really busy time to be up
yeah, right.
by the high school. If you've ever been around there during drop-off times, it's really busy. So I just think everybody did a really nice job. Didn't hold up. I mean, I was in and out of the line just as quick. And so thank you.
Thank you. Chief Carter, police report.
With that, the snow and the public works getting on it pretty quick, we did not have many issues here in town traffic wise. Now, once you got outside the city, that's a different story. But you could get around in town, you just couldn't get out of town. We had our first burn of drugs this month, actually. A couple weeks ago, we had 80 pounds of prescription drugs that we disposed of, and then several other pounds of non-prescription drugs that we got rid of. And that's it.
Thank you. Chief Rupke, fire.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In January, we ran 29 calls. Did some training, our usual training. We did air pack fit tests this past January. We have to do that annually. Everybody gets fitted for their mask and make sure that it fits properly. You shouldn't see any firefighters with beards or mustaches because they have to have their masks fit tight. And we get on them if they start to grow their beards. Did equipment orientation with all our vehicles. Everybody goes through all the trucks and our vehicles and make sure they understand how to use all the equipment. And I do want to thank all the other departments, BMED, Mid-Pyatt, Cisco, City Police, especially the Public Works who came out. They all did a great job. The Sheriff's Department, Kirby Ambulance was out there. Also, and Haresh, of course, is always there for us. But we also had Chad from RP Lumber. He's on Sir Goro's Fire Department. He heard the page. He came out, brought us some Gatorade. Scott McFarland came out. He's with Mid-Pyatt. He was working that day. I think he's the one that contacted Haresh that got us lunch. So it's just amazing. Rob Ross, our new EMA director, came out, contacted Red Cross for the citizens. It was quite an effort. And 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, you don't get a lot of people. We had our first truck rolled in with 3. Captain Kaunecki came from school after dropping his kid off, and we had to bring his gear. A couple guys from the City Works were already there. Brett Baker and Trevor were there, and they helped us pull some lines off the truck. They're firemen. They knew. So it was quite a team effort. And then we had Barb come with the backhoe and help pull it down. It's nice to try to save most of that house, but the way that fire was in the attic was really hard to get to. So the best thing to do was to pull it down, and most of it down. We saved the 2 bedrooms, the garage and so forth, so. But it was, it really showed what happens when we train together, all the departments train together, because it was really a good coordinated effort. And I really appreciate what they do, so. And I also want to thank Chief Carter for taking our ID pictures this week. So all the firemen have ID pictures now to show off if they so choose to, but thank you for doing that. I sure appreciate it. So, I believe that's all I have, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. City Administrative Report, Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. To Alderman Brock's comments, State Street, we do have money budgeted for this fiscal year for some hearing. I would echo your sentiments on the condition of State Street. I think we were looking at Grand Street for a little bit. We're going to do something else with Grand and get on State Street sooner than later. Secondly, the city council approved increasing the city work for the city. And it used to be you had to live within 5 miles of City Hall. Now it's 12 miles. Just to get the workforce out of Cisco or Waikiki or even Cerro would be met, so on and so forth. And one of the guys in that snow event the mayor was talking about brought in an air mattress and slept at the wastewater treatment plant. Not the clean water treatment plant, the dirty water treatment plant. And that's the Jeremiah Buchanan, the next in line for the operator. Because he recently relocated out of town and understood the severity of the situation. And I think that speaks volumes to his character. With the new public works building, we have a shower. So I know all the rest of the guys appreciated the Jeremiah shower. And then I'd like to really quick thank in ordinance you guys and gals approved. This evening we had $4,000 for the planter boxes for the downtown parks. That's a coordinated effort with the Monticello High School wood production class. Ryan Woodham, the instructor, and Brad Curry, the instructor. So they're absolutely beautiful. They're taller, but the guys, the teachers and the students did an outstanding job on those planter boxes. They're really neat. So that was a collaborative effort with us in the school district yet again. That's all I have for my report tonight.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I need a motion to go into closed session to discuss real estate purchase or lease 5 ILCS 120/2C5. I'm anticipating that when we come out of, and I'm not anticipating, when we come out of closed session, we will take no action and we'll adjourn the city council meeting. So I need a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a roll call, please.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Harlan,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
and Mr. Brock.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Change the questions.
We will be taking no action at the end of closed.
That freak him out, Jill.
There you go.
We're on.
Having no other business this evening, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. See you in 2 weeks, I hope.
2 weeks?